Hello guys, welcome back to Ceefashion Academy. Today I'll be teaching us how to cut and sew a shawl collar jacket. So please guys, I want you to make sure you do one thing for me. Make sure you focus and make sure you watch this video to the end so as to uncover all the secrets of shawl collar jacket. And also, if you love the video, make sure you click on that like button, click on that thumbs up so as to be notified whenever we post any new video. And if you are new to my channel, make sure you subscribe. Thanks, and may God bless you. Okay guys, first of all, before we start, we need to first know what a shawl collar jacket is. Okay, we all know general jackets do comprise of what we call lapel and the collar. The lapel is the one you normally see at the chest side, and the collar is normally the one you see at the neck side. So now, this is a normal jacket. So talking about shawl collar jacket, this lapel and collar is joined into two. Like when you are cutting it, the jacket comes with both the lapel and the collar together. While on a normal jacket, when you are cutting, you cut only the normal jacket and the lapel. While on the shawl collar, everything is joined together. You cut everything together. So that is it. As you can see, look at it on your screen. This is a shawl collar jacket, while the other one you are seeing is a is not a shawl collar jacket rather. Okay, so let's start. First of all, as you can see, this is our measurement. We have shoulder of 15 inches. We have round bust of 38 inches. We have round under bust of 33 inches. We have bust length of 11 inches. We have waist length of 17 inches, and we have round waist of 33 inches. We have the jacket length of 27 inches. We have the hip length of 27 inches, and we also have the round hip of 40 inches. So we are going to use this measurement in order to construct our shawl collar jacket. Please do make sure you do watch to the end. Make sure you focus, because this tutorial is going to be totally detailed. Thank you. Okay guys, first thing you need to do is to fold out your material. Please, I want to let you guys know something. I advise you to use your pattern paper. It's always good to use your pattern paper, especially when you're making a jacket. If you like, you can also use your material, but for my own suggestion, I would say you use your pattern paper. Okay, so like I said, the first thing to do whenever you want to cut anything is to do you need to fold. Okay, so in this case, what are we going to be folding with? We are going to be folding with our highest circumference. In this case, our highest circumference is 40 inches, which is the round hip. Now 40 inches divided by 4 as usual is going to give us 10 inches. Now add extra 5 inches to it. Make sure that means 10 plus 5 is going to give us 15. It means that we are going to fold 15 inches. As you guys can see, what I have here is 15 inches. Okay, so that is how you fold. Do you understand? Then for those that want to know what that 5 inches really is for both the lapel allowance and for the body allowance. Okay, so now you don't just only consider the horizontal folding. You also consider the vertical, which is actually the length of the jacket. Now in this case, make sure, as you can see, mine is very, very long. Normally I don't need to consider this, but because I'm teaching you guys, I need to let you know what you need to fold with. Do you understand? Now talking about the vertical, since our jacket length is 27 inches, now please make sure you add extra 6 inches to it. Please, I want you to know that. Make sure you add extra 6 inches to it. Now this 6 inches is for both the collar and the hemming at the down part. Since it is called together collar jacket, which is also shawl collar jacket, in that case, that's why we are adding for the together collar and for the hemming. What did I say? I said the jacket length is 27 inches. Add extra 6 inches to it, which I say that the 6 inches is for the 5 inches for the collar and 1 inch for the hemming of the down part, which in total gives us 33 inches. So make sure that your the length of your pattern paper is up to 33. As you can see, mine is more than 33, which means that I am safe. Okay, so now you are done folding. As you can see, next thing we need to do is to mark out the measurement points. But please, before you start marking out the measurement points, you need to first of all mark out these particular 2 points, which is first of all, look at it. You need to mark out your 2 inches. Please note, we are cutting the front first, we are not cutting the back. Okay, like I said, you need to mark out your 2 inches. Make sure you mark it out till you reach at the down part. Okay, after you're done marking out your what 2 inches, like I said, these 2 inches is for your what? Is for your lapel. Okay, make sure you take your rule and do what? Connect. Okay, so after you are done doing that, please, the next thing you need to do is to do what? Mark out for your what collar. Remember what I said, since it is short collar together collar jacket, that means you need to mark out the what at most 5 inches for your what collar. Okay, okay, so as you guys have seen, we have this part. This part is for the what? Is for the collar. Why this part is for the what? Is for the lapel. You understand? Okay, now since we have these 2 points now, then we can now do what? Start marking out our other measurement points. Okay, which our measurement point starts from the shoulder. Now the shoulder starts from here. Do you understand? Shoulder starts from here. Okay, we now say from shoulder to the what? To the bust line. In this case, our bust line is what? 11 inches. Okay, mark it out. So after marking it out like this, make sure you mark it out into two. This is to enable us to get a what? A straight line. Okay, so next is what? Next is our waistline. Okay, then our waistline in this case is what? 17 inches. Make sure you also mark it out into two in order to get a straight line. Okay, so after getting our waistline, next thing we need to get is our what? Jacket length stroke what? Hip line, which is what? 27 inches. As you can see, 27 inches. Are you seeing it? Okay, now make sure you add your what? 1 inch. This 1 inch is for the what? Hemming, or for the what? Folding allowance. Okay, so other persons can also add what? 2 inches, but please, for the sake of this tutorial, add what? 1 inch. Okay, so also make sure you mark it out into two in order to get a straight line. That is 27 plus what? 1, making it what? 28. Okay, so next thing we are going to do is to do what? We are going to take our rule and do what? Connect. Okay guys, now at the end of the day, we have our measurement points. As you can see, okay, we start from the what? We start from the, this one is for the what? Shoulder, and this one is for the what? The bust point or bust length, whichever we call it. This one is for the what? The waistline. This one is for the what? The jacket length or hip line. Why this one is for the what? The allowance. Okay. Okay, the next thing we are going to do is to do what? We are going to get our shoulder slope. Hope all of us know that there is no dress you make that doesn't have shoulder slope. Shoulder slope means that our shoulder is not straight. Do you understand? It must do what? Slant, depending on how your shoulder is. Okay, so in order to get our shoulder slope, we need to first of all to get our what? Shoulder, to mark out our shoulder. Now in this case, our shoulder is 15 divided by 2, which is going to give us what? 7.5. As you can see, please make sure you add extra half to it. This half is for what? Same shoulder, same allowance. Okay, making it what? 8 inches. Okay, as you can see, we've gotten 8 inches. Okay, so in order to get the slope, next thing you need to do is what? Immediately on this point, please make sure you slant by what? 1 inch for female, then 2 inches to 3 for male. But for the sake of this tutorial, this is a female jacket. Okay, which is what? This is what? 1 inch. Now after you finish getting this point, next thing you need to do is to do what? Mark out your what? Standard neck width, which is what? 3 inches. As you can see, now we have this point and we have this point. The next thing we need to do is to do what? We need to mark out our shoulder slope like this. Okay, from this point connect to this very point. Okay, so after marking out the shoulder slope, the next thing we need to do is to do what? We need to construct the armhole. So in order to construct the armhole, you keep your tape like this. Look at it. And first of all, we need to do what? Get our what we call the what? The armhole length. The distance from the what? Shoulder to the what? Armpit. Okay, so in order to get it, we have different formulas in order to get it. But please, I'm going to be using this my simplest method, which I normally use, which is what? Whatever you have as your shoulder divided by 2 plus half, that is the same thing you put here. Like this one, our shoulder is 15 divided by 2 is what? 7.5. We add extra half inch to it, making it what? 8 inches. So in that case, from here, as you can see, it is not from here. Are you seeing it? After the slope, we are going to mark out our what? 8 inches. Okay, so after you are done marking out your 8 inches, are you seeing it? Take your rule and do what? Connect a straight line in order to meet up to this point. Okay, as you can see, we are done. Next thing we need to do is to do what? Immediately do what? Horizontally mark out what? A line here. This is to enable us construct our what? Armhole properly. Now we have a vertical line and a horizontal line. Then the next thing to do is to do what? to construct the curve of the what? The armhole. That is what? To mark out the armhole curve. And in order to mark out the armhole curve, there are many things we need to do. First of all, from here, diagonally mark out what? 1 inch. As you can see, diagonally mark out what? 1 inch. This is what we normally do whenever we want to mark out any curve. Then the next thing you need to do is to do what? As you can see, the distance from here to here is what? 8 inches. Now detect the what? The half. Are you seeing it? The middle part is the what? 4 inches. Now from this particular point, connect to this particular point, then now to this particular point in order to do what? Form your curve. Now look at it. This, you can make use of any French, like your French curve or freehand, or even your other rule set. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be making use of my what? Freehand. Okay, so as you can see, I am done with it. But please, there's something I want to introduce to all of us, is what I call the what? The armhole effect. Please, like I used to say, the armhole effect is normally done only in front. Do you understand? Now, what is the purpose of the armhole effect? We do armhole effect so that if you guys notice, sometimes after you finish sewing a cloth, or maybe whenever somebody makes a cloth for you, you notice that the armhole region is puffing, is so rumpled. Do you understand? It's so squeezed. That is because armhole effect was not properly what? Effected. So in order for you to correct it, you need to do what? Add your what? Armhole effect. Now, like I say, armhole effect is only effected what? In front, not at the back of the cloth. So in order to do the armhole effect, as you can see, this is the middle part. So next thing you need to do is to do what? From this middle part, you can step in with what? Half or 3/4. Now, for the sake of this particular tutorial, since we are making a jacket, I'll be using what? 3/4. As you can see, now look at it from here to here. So next thing we need to do is to do what? Look at it. From here, connect with your French curve or with your what? Curve set. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be making use of my what? Freehand. From here, connect down to this particular point. Now look at it. Are you seeing it? Then from this particular point, back to this particular point. Okay, so now we are done constructing the what? The armhole. So this is to tell you that the moment we start cutting out this particular cloth, we are going to first of all cut out this particular part. Do you understand? Because this particular part is now the back, which after we finish cutting both the front and back, we can now come and do what? Cut out this particular part, which is the what? The front part. Okay guys, next thing we are going to do now is to impute the what? The body measurement. So in order to impute the body measurement, we start from the what? The round bust. Now the round bust, which is what? 38 inches divided by 4 is going to give us what? 9.5. Now mark out your what? 9.5. As you can see, mark out your 9.5. Then add extra what? 2 inches allowance. Please always know that since you are making use of a what? A pattern paper, it is optional to add your what? Your extra what? Body allowance, since you are making use of a pattern paper. But please, I recommend you do what? Add that particular allowance. Okay, so next is what? Our waist, round waist. Okay, now this is our waistline. So round waist is what? 33 inches. Now 33 divided by 4, which is going to give us what? 8.25. So mark out 8.25. As you can see, mark out 8.25. Then also add what? Your extra 2 inches allowance. Okay, so next is the what? The round hip. Okay, the round hip, which is what? 40 inches. Okay, 40 inches, which is what? Divided by 4 is going to give us what? 10 inches. Okay, mark out your what? Extra 2 inches allowance. Okay, as you can see, we have these 3 points, this point, and this point. Okay, so next thing we are going to do now is to do what? We are going to join them together. Okay. Okay guys, as you can see, I've really joined them together. Okay, let me also join the what? Original measurement. So as you know that this one is what? The allowance. Okay guys, as you can see, I'm actually done with the what? The body measurement. Okay guys, after marking out the body measurement, next thing I want to do is to do what? As you can see, this down part is looking so straight. Me personally, I don't like it to be so straight. Please, I want you to know that this particular one is what? Optional. So since I don't want it to be so straight, what am I going to do? Next thing I'm going to do is to do what? Look at it. From here, as you can see, from this particular allowance, look at it. Are you seeing it? This is what? Extra 1 inch. I'm going to step up. Look at it. I'm going to step up from here. Are you seeing it? 1 inch. Are you seeing it? Okay, so from this particular 1 inch, as you can see, from here to here, the middle part, which is what? Around here, I'm going to connect with my what? Rule. Look at it. I'm going to connect with my what? Rule. As you can see, I've done that, and as you can see, this is looking so beautiful from here. As you can see the curve. Okay, so after that, next thing I want to do is to do what? I want to mark out my what? Dart. I want to construct the dart. But before you construct the dart, you need what we call the what? The bust span. Now the bust span is the what? The distance from the left nipple to the what? The right nipple, or vice versa, from the right nipple to the what? Left nipple. Now for a bust of 38, the bust span is what? 8 inches. Which, because we are folding our fabric into two, our pattern paper into two, we divide that 8 by what? 2 inches. So in order to do that, 8 divided by 2 is what? 4 inches. So I want you from here, are you seeing into this particular point, starting from the word bust line, mark out what? 4 inches. Do the same thing at the what? The waistline, which is the what? Half length at this moment, mark out what? 4 inches. And also do the same thing at the what? The hip line, mark out what? 4 inches. Please, I want you to know something. Because I'm making use of a pattern paper such that after I finish, I will cut it out, then place it on the material, now add my what? Half inch on all sides, excluding this particular part. Because I will do that, that's why I did not add extra half inch to this my what? Bust span. But if you're working directly on fabric, please, instead of here being 4, since my bust span is what? 8 inches divided by 2, which is what? 4. Please make sure you add extra half inch to it, making it what? 4.5. Take it down. If you are working with a fabric, but because I'm working with a pattern paper, I did not add that extra half inch allowance. Do you understand? Okay. So after we are done doing that, take your rule and do what? Connect. Okay, guys. So after I am done connecting, next thing I'm going to do is to do what? Properly construct the what? The dart. So to construct the dart, I would like to let you know that dart usually starts from what? For the front part of the dress, the dart starts from what? 1 inch below the what? Bust. Look at it, 1 inch below the what? Bust. Since this is the bust line, this is what? 1 inch. Are you seeing it? Okay. So now it ends at what? 2 inches above the what? The hip line. Please, I want you to know that 2 inches above the what? Hip line. Okay, as you can see, this point and this point. Also remember, we also have this point, which is the what? The waistline. So in order to form the dart, this is what we do. Place your tape such that from this middle part you take what? Half inch, and from this other middle part you take what? Half inch, making a total of what? 1 inch. Please, I want you to know that this 1 inch is not fixed. Sometimes you see some persons, instead of taking half inch, they take 3/4 inch from this side and 3/4 inch from this side. This is to enable them get the perfect shape of the what? Customer. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'll be making use of what? Half inch on both sides. Now, as you can see, I have this point, and I have this point, I have this point, and I have this point. Next thing I'm going to do is to do what? Take my rule and do what? Connect all of them. Okay, guys, so as you can see, I fully constructed the dart. Now I want you guys to know something. I don't want to really leave my dart like this. I need a princess dart. So all I need to do is to do what? Find a way to extend it from here to this particular point. Do you understand? But what if I need a shoulder dart? All I will need to do is to do what? The distance of from here to here, I'll do what? Divide it by 2. Then I'll connect this one from here to this very particular part. Do you understand? So like I said, I'll be making use of the word the princess dart. That is, I'll be connecting from here to here. Okay, so in order to connect, all I need to do is to do what? Look at it. At this middle part, look at it. I'll connect from here to here. Please, you can make use of your word, any of your curves, but I'll be making use of my word freehand. Okay, as you can see, I've actually done that. Okay, guys, the next thing to do is to do what? Mark out our button or overlapping allowance. Okay, so in order to do that, what we are going to do is to do what? Now look at, there's what we call the what? The break point. This is at that point you normally see the lapel fold. Do you understand? The down part you normally see the what? Lapel fold. Okay, so what we are going to do is to do what? To get our break point. Please, depending on the kind of jacket you are constructing, do you understand, or you're working on, break points can vary. Please, break points can be what? From, as you can see, this is our what? The waistline. Break points can be what? 1 inch above the waistline, or 2 inch above the waistline, or even at the what? Under bust. Do you understand? Which in this case our under bust is what? 14 inches. Please, depending. Do you understand? But for the sake of this particular tutorial, my break point is going to be what? 2 inches above the what? The waistline. As you can see, this is my break point. So since this is my break point, I'm going to, like this, and mark out what? 1 inch. Okay, please, I want you to know that this particular 1 inch here is for the what? The button allowance. Do you understand? This particular 1 inch you're seeing here is for the what? Button allowance. You can as well make it what? Half inch. Do you understand? Okay. Okay, so since you've marked out the 1 inch, please, I want you to take the 1 inch down. As you can see, take it what? Down. Okay, now take your rule and do what? Connect. Okay, so as you can see, this is our what? The break point. At this part is our what? The break point. Okay, but there's something I want us to do before we move over to what? Lapel and the collar. What I want us to do is that sometimes you see jackets, some jackets are straight from here, but for mine, I don't want it to be I don't want it to be what? I don't want it to be straight. I want it to come slant like this, and even at the end of the day, curve like this. Do you understand? So in order for me to do that, what I'm going to be doing is what? Since this is my button allowance, as you can see, all I'll be doing is what? Look at it. From here, I'll still step in by what? 1 inch. Are you seeing it? Okay, if I step in by 1 inch, next thing I'm going to do is to do what? Look at it. I'm going to connect from here to that particular 1 inch. Okay. Are you seeing it? I've actually done that. So after I finish connecting, next thing I need to do is to do what? I also need to do what? Like I told you guys, I don't want my own to come only slantwise. I also want a particular curve like this. Look at it. I also want a curve like this. Do you understand? So look at it. So if you actually don't know how to form this particular curve, if you cannot get it properly, all I want you to do is to do what? Remember what we use at the armhole? 1 inch. I told us that 1 inch, I usually use it to do what? Form my what? Curve. Look at it. Diagonally, mark out from here to here 1 inch. Are you seeing it? You can now do what? Form your curve. Okay. So after this particular point, next thing we are going to do is to do what? We are going to construct our what? Collar and the what? Lapel. Okay guys, for us to construct our collar and lapel, what we need to do is to do what? Are you seeing it? From this particular break point, first of all, connect it to the what? To the neck width. Remember I told us that the neck width is what? 3 inches. Okay, so from this break point, connect to the neck width. Now as you can see, as I'm connecting to the neck width, look at it. As I'm connecting, I'm not just stopping here, I'm taking it to what? Up like this. Are you seeing it? I'm also trying to do what? To form the what? Together collar. Okay, so after I've finished doing this, next thing I really need to do is to do what? Okay, since the neck width is what? 3 inches. Do you understand? And the collar should also be the collar will be what? Fixed on the what? The neck width. Do you understand? So that means here also supposed to be what? 3 inches. Do you understand? Here also supposed to be what? 3 inches. Now, look at what I'm saying. Since here is 3 inches, here supposed to also be what? 3 inches. Now, I'm not just going to make it 3 inches. I'm also going to add what? My seam allowance to it. Do you understand? Please, I want you to know that this seam allowance is by choice. If you're working with fabric, you can add your what? Seam allowance. If you're working with this pattern and paper, you can also add it, or you can also choose not to add it, which you'll be adding it to what? At the end of your what? Whenever you want to trace it on your material. Okay, so please, I want you to know that next thing I will be doing is what? Look at it. I will take my rule and do what? I'll connect like this. Are you seeing it? I will now take my rule and do what? Connect it like this. Okay, after I've done connecting it, like there's something else we need to do to make this particular one complete. As you can see, like I said we connect from here to here. Then since the neck width is what? 3 inches, here should also be what? 3 inches. Add your what? Half inch allowance. Okay, so now we finish adding it. Next thing we need to do is to do what? Look at this thing very well. From here, are you seeing it? From here to here, are you seeing it? Please mark out what? Half inch. Extra what? Half inch. Okay, so this is to enable the what? The collar lap very well on the neck. Okay, from here also do what? Connect it down to the what? Neck width. Okay, so after we are done doing this thing, next thing we need to do is to do what? We need to get the what? The thickness of the collar. How big you want your collar to be. Do you understand? Okay, so in order to achieve that, your collar can be up to what? 3 inches. It can be what? 4 inches. Please, I want you to know that this thing at the end of the day will be folded. So assuming it is 3 inches, when you fold it, you might be getting what? 1.5. Do you understand? So but for the sake of this particular tutorial, I'll be making use of what? 3 inches. Okay, now look at it. I'll be making use of what? 3 inches. Now look at it. You mark out 3 inches, mark it out like this. Okay, mark it out like this, 3 inches. Are you seeing it? Now we have from here down to this very part. So there's something I want to let you know now. Then from here, all we need to do is to do what? Find a way, look at it, to connect it down to what? This particular part. Are you seeing it? From here, we connect down to this particular part. Have you seen what I've just done? Okay, so let me stay very well. Let me position myself very well and do it very well. Okay, so look at it now. You need to connect down to this particular one. Have you seen it? Okay, as you can see, we are done constructing our what? The front part of our what? Shawl collar jacket. Okay, so we are going to move over to do what? We are going to take our scissors and cut it out, which after we use it and do what? Trace our back part. Okay guys, we are now going to cut out the back part. The back part is not hard to cut out. All you need to do is to take the front part and trace at the back part, but it is not just done like that. So that's why I'm here to guide you guys. Okay, so what we are going to do now is to do what? As you can see the front, look at it. As you can see the front, since we are going to trace this one out, so we need to remove everything that made this one the front part. That is, as you can see, this is where our measurement starts from. So all we are going to do is to, first of all, we are going to fold it out like this. Look at it. We are going to fold it out like this. Are you seeing it? We are going to remove the lapel. Okay. By doing so, we have actually done what? Remove the lapel. So after we finish doing that, we also need to do the same thing to the what? To the collar. Okay. So as you can see, we've totally done what? Removed it. So all we need to do is to do what? Fold for your what? The back part. Okay. After you finish folding for the back part, take it. As you can see, please, first of all, what I need you to do is what? Let's say the back part, just for your allowance or for your darting. Do you understand? If you're actually working with fabric, or even if you're working with pattern paper, you can also do this. It's very, very important. Okay, mark out what? 1 inch. Are you seeing it? Okay, when you mark out 1 inch, now take this and place like this. Look at it. Take it and do what? Place like this. Then after you finish placing it, all you need to do is to do what? Take your pin and do what? Hold it together. Okay guys, so after you've done holding it, next thing you need to do is to do what? Take your marker or take your chalk and do what? Trace it out. That is getting the shape of the front. Tracing it to the what? To the back part. Okay, so you can either trace it out or immediately do what? Take your scissors and then cut it off. Now I want to show you something. As you're cutting it off, here at the back, center back doesn't need to be what? Curved. Rather, it needs to be what? Straight. Are you seeing it? Here doesn't need to be what? Curved. Rather what? Straight. Okay, so start cutting like this. Okay guys, as you can see, after we are done cutting it out, next thing we need to do is to do what? We need to trace out all our allowance. Now look at it. You need to trace it out. Trace out your what? Bust allowance. Are you seeing it? Bust line. Trace out your what? Half length, which is the what? The waistline. Okay, and also another thing is what? Trace out the what? The neck width. Are you seeing it? So this is where the neck width is. So first of all, what we are going to do at the back is to do what? To construct our what? Back neck. So in order to construct our back neck, we need the what? Neck width, which is what? Are you seeing it? 3 inches. Then the back, this thing, neck depth is what? 1 inch. Can as well use 3/4. It must not be up to what? 1 inch. So since we have here and here, all we need to do is to do what? We need to do what? Connect it. Are you seeing it? So our back neck is done. As you can see. So you can as well take your scissors and do what? Cut it out. Okay. So guys, after you are done with that, the next thing we need to do is to do what? Next thing we need to do first of all is to do what? Now cut this one out. We are going to cut both of them together. Now look at what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my scissors. Look at it. I'm going to cut from here. As you can see, I'm cutting both of them together. I'm not separating it. Okay, look at it. As you can see, when you get it, please don't cut it in a sharp way. Okay, remember what I told you guys. You should always do what? take your pin and what? Pin it so that it will not scatter while you are cutting it. It's always note that. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is what? I'm going to cut it out from here also. So you can see, we are done cutting it out. We are done cutting it out. But I want you to notice something. Notice here, you see that here has a kind of shape because there is a bust here. So the dart is actually forming a kind of small cup here. Are you seeing a small bust here? So this thing in particular is not supposed to appear at the back. Do you understand? It's not supposed to do what? Appear at the back. So all we need to do, because the back does not have a breast or a bust, all we need to do is to do what? Silence it. Now look at it very well. Look at where it started. Now look at it. Are you seeing it? They have left. So all we need to do is to do what? Silence. So in order to silence it, see what you're going to do? You're going to totally silence it by doing it like this. Are you seeing it? So this is what we are actually going to remove. So take your scissors and do what? And then cut it out. This, we are cutting this thing out because the back does not have a bust. As you can see, it is not okay. When you merge it with this particular one, you actually do what? See a dart. Okay, so that is it. So next thing we are also going to do is to do what? We are also going to apply this particular dart at the what? The middle part of the back. Okay, now look at it. It's just simple. Look at what we are going to do. Okay, let me remove this particular one. Okay, look at what we are going to do. At this particular point, are you seeing it? Step in by what? Half inch. Okay, when you step in by half inch, the next thing you're actually going to do is to do what? Now look at it. Take your rule and do what? From this half inch, connect down to this particular part. Are you seeing it? Then from this one, okay, let me make use of a visible marker. At this part, connect down to this particular part. Are you seeing it? At this particular part, connect down to this particular part. Are you seeing it? So what I'm going to do now finally is to do what? Let's say the allowance which I want is what? 1 inch or half inch, depending. Please, I told you guys, I added this thing. It's not necessary that I needed it, but I just want you to know that if you're working with your fabric, you need to add an allowance. Do you understand? But if you're working with your pattern paper, it doesn't matter whether you add it or not. Okay, so next thing I'm also going to do now, let's say it's still the same 1 inch that I'm using. I'm also going to step in towards this side. Are you seeing it? Okay, by what? Half. Okay, all I'm still going to do is to do what? I'm still going to connect. Okay, then also connect this particular part. So at the end of the day, next thing you are going to do is to do what? Take your scissors and cut this particular one out. Okay guys, as you can see, look at it very well. As you can see, we are done cutting it out. This is actually the what? The back part. As you can see, the back part is now ready to be what? Traced on a fabric. Okay, why this is the front part? Please, if you're working with pattern paper like I've just done now, how do you trace it? Please, whenever, see how you trace this. It's so simple. Let's say this particular place now, are you seeing it? This particular floor now is my material. All I need to do is to do what? Mark out half inch on all parts. When I mean all parts, not the parts that I've added allowance already. Like this part, I've actually added allowance to it. But if you still feel like adding more, you can also do what? Add extra to it. Okay, then the down part, if you still feel like adding it, you can add it. But it is very, very compulsory for you to add at this particular point. Okay, the same thing you do for this one. It is very, very compulsory you add at this particular point. Please also know that. So that is how you trace it and cut it. Please, I want you to make sure you watch out the part 2 on how I do what? Trace it on the material and on how I cut it. And if you also want me to post that particular video, please, I want you to show me you love this particular one by clicking on that what? Like button. Click on that thumbs up just to show me that you love this particular video. Okay, thank you very much. Okay guys, this is the back part. So now this is the what? The front part. As you can see, this is the front part. So let me show you guys how this thing works. Let me show you how this thing works. Okay. Okay. So see how this works. See how this works. It is being folded. You fold it like this from that break point. Are you seeing it? You fold it like this. Okay. Okay. Then from that break point, you fold it like this. Are you seeing it? Okay, let's say I folded the two. Remember, this one has to be joined to this side. Are you seeing it? While this one has to be joined to this side. Are you seeing it? So at the end of the day, this one is folded like this. Are you seeing it? While this particular one is folded like this. Remember, we added 1/2 inch allowance here. That is what we are going to do, what? Join it with. Are you seeing it? It is forming already. Are you seeing it? So that is how we are going to do. So after you are done joining out this particular one like this, next thing you need to do is to do what? Go and join out your what? Back part. So if you want to know more about the joining, please make sure you watch out for the part 2 on how to sew this particular short jacket. Thanks and may God bless you.